Insurance Study 101. So, today we're going to attempt to study out loud. We're going to start a new series on, I'm studying for my insurance exam, and right now I feel like it would be better and easier. We're going to take this lesson learned from my last time. Never stop rolling. Only have one sound cut. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. iPhone for vertical, and we got this for long form. The vertical is for shorts. We also do media. We're gonna give us a half an hour right now, and then we're gonna break it down into 60 to 90-second clips, and we're gonna go ahead and start from there. The goal here is to create a fun and interesting way to study. I'm not an insurance expert. I am studying for my exam, and I decided that maybe this would be a fun way to start out an insurance study group, if you will, an online study group. And I'm going to start just posting these up on Insurance Study. I'll market it specifically to insurance groups. I'll start a new YouTube channel. We'll try to monetize this. This is for the Florida life, health, and annuity insurance license. And we're going to just go ahead and get started. Okay. Adjust this. We got to get some more interesting background stuff happening. In progress. Okay. So, with that said, we're just literally going to be reading straight from the book. I am currently on chapter 1, which is applying for insurance and the application process. Okay, so the first section is field underwriting. So depending upon whether an applicant is replacing an existing coverage plan or beginning coverage for the first time in several years, insurance companies follow a general guideline when they underwrite an insurance application. Okay. Make these go a little faster. 16. Underwriting an insurance application, right? So each insurance company provides its agents with specific company underwriting guidelines, which help to assist the agents while they're in the field, okay? Though the guidelines are similar throughout the industry, each insurance company follows its own underwriting guidelines according to acceptable conditions and applicable coverage rates, okay? So an insurance agent does not underwrite an insurance application, nor can an agent guarantee or bind the coverage between the insurance company and the applicant. However, it is the agent's responsibility to review the application for the insurance with the applicant, explain the underwriting process, and provide the applicant with the potential premium estimate based on the applicant's health background information. Okay. So, in obtaining insurance coverage, an applicant submits specific personal, medical, financial information to an insurer's underwriting department to accurately reflect his or her risk potential to that insurer. Although each type of insurance varies, the process of underwriting an applicant begins with the completion of the insurance application. Okay, so traditionally, an insurance agent representing the insurer provides that applicant with a paper application. However, now it's common for producers to assist applicants in completing the application directly through the websites. And that leads us into the next part of it, which is the role of e-commerce. So the insurance industry continues to adapt to an e-commerce convenience-based model. It's become a major selling point for both agents and clients. As an agent, I want to stay home. It makes it so I can stay home. For clients, they don't want a stranger coming into their home, so they don't have to have that happen, you know? So in addition to meeting face-to-face with a client, an agent can email a price quote application to a client and gives the client, completes the form and electronically submits the form directly to the insurance company. So consumers can also shop and compare policies from various insurers online through each insurance, through search engines or through government-sponsored websites, okay? So in addition to convenience, applying electronically is also going to provide for a quicker response time from the insurer, providing the applicant with insurance, right? The insurance agent's responsibility, once the application is submitted, the insurance agent is to follow the progress of the application as it is reviewed in order to communicate to the client any additional questions or requirements from the insurer, okay? So regardless of the type of insurance or the method of application of insurance, all insurers need to gather specific background information from the applicant. However, the basic underwriting requirements and procedures followed will vary based on each insurance company, so make sure you check with the company that you're going to be working with, okay? Next, completing the application, take 1. So an application asks general questions about the applicant, okay? Things such as your contact information, residence information, name, phone number, address, zip code, email, date of birth, sex, weight, height, your tobacco status, occupation, hobbies, and vocations, which can be deemed dangerous and makes the applicant higher risk. Types of policy for which the individual is applying for, the name and relationship of the policy's beneficiaries, if it's applicable, any other insurance applications that may be pending, either with the same or a different insurer. In addition to general information pertaining to the applicant, each type of insurance policy will vary in the amount and the type of medical information needed to underwrite the policy for which the applicant is applying for. Now, although each type of policy is different, as well as the insurers that market them, general medical questions asked on the application are going to include questions regarding the applicant's current health, any current health conditions of the applicant, any current medications the applicant is taking, any recent doctor or hospital visits, emergency room visits or stays, questions regarding an applicant's health history, any prior health conditions within the stated period of time, usually between 6 and 12 months or longer, depending on the type of condition, any prior medications, doctor visits, hospital stays, previous insurance policy information, claims made while insured. And then that leads us to the agent's report, right? So in addition to the application, the insurer might request the agent's report, which includes any immediate observations by the agent regarding the applicant's background, demeanor, and character, which is really interesting to me. So an insurance agent must also state on the application if the applicant is replacing an existing policy with a new policy and whether it's being replaced by the same insurer or through a different insurer. Okay, now gets us into non-medical versus medical applications. The application for health or life insurance is the first and primary step towards obtaining an insurance policy is the application. So referred to as a non-medical application, it is common for a health insurance policy to be issued to an applicant based solely on the medical information gathered from the application that is submitted by the applicant to the insurer. This is usually the case when switching from one insurer to another, or when an individual is in good health when applying for insurance. The applicant's age also plays a major role in the decision to issue a policy based solely on the application. In addition to health insurance, most life insurance policies applied for by younger, healthier individuals with modest face amounts, typically under $200,000, are also issued based pretty much solely on the medical information gathered from the application. But larger face amounts, however, are often need to be accompanied by a medical exam. Okay, so a basic form of term life insurance called guaranteed issue or simplified issue life insurance typically provides face amounts between $1,000 to $5,000 and is issued based solely on the application, often asking only basic applicant questions regarding gender, age, residence, address, and specific catastrophic medical history, such as things like heart attacks, for example, as opposed to more extensive medical questions asked on a typical term or whole life application. Additional information that may be required. Okay. Additional information may be required if an applicant reveals certain health conditions or other risk exposures. An insurer may further investigate such conditions or risk exposures by reviewing an applicant's MIB file or medical file, and even require medical or paramedical exam, reviewing an applicant's Department of Motor Vehicle report, reviewing credit and or inspection reports, and requiring the completion of hazardous activities questionnaires, things like aviation, skydiving, scuba diving, motorcycle racing, boat racing, mountain climbing, things of that nature. A medical or paramedical exam depended on several factors, including the age and health of the applicant and the type and amount of insurance which is being applied for. A life or health insurance applicant can be required to undergo a quick medical exam in addition to submitting an application. Although most health and life policies with face amounts less than $200,000 do not require a medical examination, sometimes the applicant's age or poor health prompts an insurer to require a quick medical exam conducted by a licensed physician or a paramedical exam conducted by a nurse practitioner or a paramedic, often at the applicant's residence, referred to as a medical application. If required, the cost of the medical exam is paid by the insurer with no cost to the applicant. A medical or paramedical exam generally is going to include recording the applicant's height and weight, conducting verbal questionnaire regarding the applicant's medical history and lifestyle, checking the applicant's blood pressure and pulse rate, and collecting blood and urine analysis, and depending on the age of the applicant or the type or amount of coverage requested, additional tests such as EKGs or treadmill tests determine one's health. In order to determine one's health can be requested by the insurance company in order to determine an applicant's eligibility. Okay, so when necessary, an applicant may also be required to provide a medical records or attending physician's statement, aka APS, attending physician's statement, to ensure when the confirmation of a current or prior condition is needed by the insurance to accurately underwrite the applicant. So the application disclosures, then the application has disclosures and signatures. The required disclosures, when an applicant submits his or her application to an agent or electronically to the insurer through its website, private information is being released about the individual that is legally protected under various privacy and health disclosure laws, such as Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Privacy Act, and the Financial Services Modernization Act, Financial Services Modernization Act, which will be discussed in Lesson 5. These consumer protection acts require financial institutions to maintain the privacy of an applicant's non-public personal information. So before submitting an application, the applicant is required to receive a printed or printable disclosures form regarding the use of such information, review any specific testing procedures such as HIV, AIDS, and genetic tests. The insurer is legally responsible to disclose any measures it intends to use in verifying through any third-party vendor. Pause this real quick. How do I pause it? Pause. Take two. All right, next section is the required signatures section. Okay, so upon submitting an application for insurance, an applicant verifies his or her identity and personal information by providing his or her signature at the end of the application. Okay, so the applicant's signature attests to the accuracy of the information in the application. In addition, any required disclosure documents are signed by the applicant, providing permission to use such information in approving the application. In addition to the applicant, the agent's signature is also required on the application to verify his or her involvement in the process of submitting the application. This is especially important when the applicant is replacing current insurance. Next section, changes in the application. So once an application has been submitted, any changes in the application must be recognized as such by the applicant and the insurer to ensure that no such changes are accurate and correct, to ensure that such changes are accurate and correct to what the applicant intended to provide on the application. Okay, so if changes are needed on the application after it's submitted, the insurer is going to require an additional signature from the applicant for the approval of such changes. A paper application can be corrected or changed before being submitted. However, any changes should be initiated by the applicant and agent, However, any changes should be initialed by the applicant and the agent to confirm such changes are correct. Next section. Consequences of incomplete applications. So, incomplete or inaccurate applications cannot be processed by an insurer's underwriting department until the changes or completions are made by the applicant. Typically, the agent is notified along with the applicant if any requirements of the applicant are still needed to complete the application, and the application is either returned to the applicant or the agent for completion, or it can be completed through phone review with the insurer's underwriting department. So any additional time needed to complete the underwriting process delays the approval of the applicant. Therefore, it's important for an agent to accurately and completely submit the application to ensure its expedited approval. Likewise, it's important for the applicant to be truthful and to complete the application to the best of the applicant's knowledge and understanding of his or her health history. The applicant's signature attests to the accuracy of the information in the application. Next section. Collecting the initial premium and issuing a conditional receipt. The common practice in the insurance industry is to collect an applicant's initial premium at the time of application, allowing the insurer to issue the policy once underwriting is completed. If an applicant submits an application without the initial premium, additional underwriting might be necessary once the insurer decides to offer the prospective applicant insurance, thus further delaying the issuance of the policy to the prospective applicant. So depending on the type of insurance in which the application is being submitted, the insurer provides the applicant with the receipt of submission known as a conditional receipt. This receipt provides the applicant with important protection against any event that may occur after the submission of the application and before its approval. Approval that must be covered. Application before its approval that must be covered by the insurer if such events were to occur, such as an accident or a death. Let's redo that. So depending on the type of insurance in which an application is being submitted, the insurer provides the applicant with a receipt of submission, which is also known as a conditional receipt. So this receipt is going to provide the applicant with important information important protection against any event that may occur after the submission of the application and before its approval that must be covered by the insurer if such event were to occur, such as an accident or death. If the applicant were to experience such a loss, the insurer would be responsible to cover such loss, assuming that the application is approved without reference to such loss that incurred. Essentially, when the applicant submits both an application and the initial premium, the first month's premium payment for the applied policy, the applicant is considered to have given consideration to the insurer, which is then responsible to cover the applicant for the loss during the underwriting process, assuming that it approves the applicant based on the personal and medical information provided by the applicant upon submission of the application and initial premium. A conditional receipt represents that the application will be reviewed in a timely manner and legally binds the insurer to cover future medical expenses as long as the applicant is accepted by the insurer upon review by the company's underwriters. So it's important to note that an agent cannot bind or commit coverage on behalf of an insurance company. Only the insurance company can bind the coverage. Okay? Next section. Underwriting a policy. Underwriting is defined as the process of reviewing an application for insurance where the insurance company determines an applicant's eligibility and premium amount based upon the total overall risk and how it is classified according to the company's risk limitations and standards. Okay, so when an insurance company underwrites a health or life insurance application, it assesses the risks associated with the applicant. In order to measure the amount of risk that's associated with the applicant, the insurance underwriting department reviews the application according to its underwriting guidelines, which are specific company standards of rate risk. So underwriters and individuals who are employed by the insurance company to review and determine whether or not an applicant is acceptable or declinable based on the medical history of the applicant. So underwriting guidelines are a set of rules that the insurer follows, classifying, assessing the class of risk associated with the applicant, and can vary from each insurer according to the amount of risk. Each applicant is rated according to sex, age, height, weight, medical conditions, medical history, smoking status, occupation, and even hobbies such as riding motorcycles, rock climbing, etc., as mentioned before. The policy's risk classifications and associated premium rate, aka the monthly cost, are determined by using this rating system, okay? So risk selection is the method in which underwriters use to establish whether an applicant is insurable and to what level of risk might they pose to the insurer. Insurance premiums are adjusted based upon that risk, upon the applicant's level of risk, whether it be preferred, standard, or substandard. Most insurance companies provide a 10% discount to applicants who are qualified as preferred risk status, and at the same time, active tobacco users, applicants with certain medical conditions are often rated as substandard and often charged additional premiums to help to balance the associated risk to the insurance company. So there's MIB, next section. MIB Group Inc. MIB Group Inc., formerly the Medical Information Bureau, is a multinational medical information retention and reporting agency that collects and provides reliable medical information regarding an applicant's health history. The MIB is a large organization and it's serving over 700 member insurance companies throughout the United States and Canada. So, as stated by the MIB, it is considered to be an information exchange between member issuers where relevant consumer information is both provided and collected to more accurately underwrite the life and health policy of applicants in an effort to lower the overall costs associated with life and health insurance. So during the underwriting process, when an insurance company reviews an applicant's medical history, it's sometimes necessary to assess the accuracy of an application in regards to pre-existing conditions. So the purpose of the MIB is to collect and report on medical and avocational medical risks submitted by member issuers in order to help other member insurers compare such risks to information provided on an application for insurance. So referred to as MIB consumer file, member insurers request such a file if one exists for health and life insurance applicants who disclose medical issues and pre-existing conditions to the insurer. So as a means of more accurately underwriting an application for life or health insurance, a member insurer will review and compare an applicant's MIB file to the information provided on the application or stated by the applicant. Generally speaking, MIB files only exist for consumers who have claimed medical care in the past for which the MIB was notified of such a claim. Individually insured consumers who have sought medical treatment provide permission from the insurer to collect that information from a hospital or medical practitioner which provided such medical treatment. Consumers can request a free copy of their MIB file if one exists annually or whenever adverse decision is made by an insurer based on information which has been obtained from a consumer's MIB file. That's interesting. Next section, consumer privacy. So all the information collected by an MIB is translated into code to protect the privacy of consumers in which it collects information, as well as avoid indicating specific information beyond the scope of MIB. For instance, while the MIB collects information on a consumer pertaining to a specified risk, it simply indicates that such risk was collected, but it does not collect any additional details associated with that risk. Whatever that means. The MIB does not collect a consumer's medical records, nor does it collect any lab or examination results. It simply notifies member insurers of the potential for further investigation based on the risk that was notified about from a member insurer. Okay. So this notification is used by an underwriter to confirm or help identify a risk that is listed or omitted from an application for insurance. An underwriter compares the details provided on an application with the existence of any information pertaining to it from the MIB, but it does not receive specific details of the risk from the MIB. The MIB also tracks the number of times information has been requested on an individual within the past 2 years, as well as any other insurance applications which the individual has applied. So again, while the MIB file confirms that the MIB has collected such information from a member insurer, it does not provide the details of the risk collected, nor does it include any actions taken by other insurers or the types and amounts of insurance previously applied for by an applicant. Right? So individuals who have not been underwritten for an individual life or health insurance policy in the last 7 years are typically not on file with the MIB. So in short, the MIB maintains a system of notifying member insurers of potential risks, errors, and misrepresentations during an underwriting process in order to more accurately underwrite the individual life and health insurance policies. Okay, so it provides a background check for member insurers through the notifications it receives by member insurers that might otherwise be excluded by an applicant, either unintentionally on an application, or more importantly, intentionally omitted or misrepresented by an applicant in an attempt to defraud the insurer. Cool. 30 minutes.